Hva I all verden det som foregår her?
Oh, I'm digging. I'm Jack Wishom, American Indian from America. I'm over here on a scientific inquiry, like you people have come over to our land digging up our people. I'm over here digging up your people. Maybe I can find what makes you tick. I don't know. But science, you understand. Vitenskap.
Vitenskap?
Vitenskap, yeah. You know, we're making...
Unnskyld meg, pastor. Jeg tar ansvar for alt I orden. En liten misforståelse bare. Kulturell sammenstøt. Det ikke noe farlig, det som skjedde der. Ok? Let's get out of here before they call the police.
Ja, slik kunne moderne arkeologi oppfattes om vi forsøker å bytte roller. Oren Lyons irokeser og professor I historie ved Statsuniversitetet I New York, og en hyppig talsmann for urbefolkningene I FN og I andre internasjonale fora. Her forteller han om ansvar som pålegges yngre indianerledere av stammens eldste.
They told us, as one of our instructions, they said that when we sit in council for the welfare of the people, that we should not think of ourselves, nor of our family, nor even of our generation. They said, when you make decisions, make those decisions on behalf of the seventh generation. Those faces looking up from the ground, each generation waiting its turn, waiting its time, so that when they get here, 7 generations from now, they can enjoy the same things that you do. And so by looking out for them, taking the long view, and having a compassion for life that is not here, you will best be able to make good decisions for your people here. A few years ago, when we had among our traditional circle of elders, we had an old man, not so old like that, but his name was Louis Badwoon. He was a Lakota. And Louis was a cantankerous guy. He said what he meant to say. He was a spiritual man, would never talk about a gun, would not put his hands on a gun, believed in the spiritual ways, and was frustrated with this American public. And one evening when we were sitting around a fire like this, discussing what's going to happen, he said, look, he says, here sits great spiritual leaders, power. He says, why don't we call down the powers of the universe that we can do? Let's call our grandfathers the winds, and let's have the winds come and deliver a blow to these people. Let's call the rain, he said, that the floods will come. He said, ask our eldest brother, the sun, he said, to come down and sear the people. He said, the elements, he said, we can call them. Why don't we do that, consolidate our power? And we listened to Louis, but everybody kind of shifted around a little bit and said, well, Louis, all that you say is true, but maybe we're not quite ready for that yet. Maybe not. He said, well, I don't know what else is going to change these people's mind. And now Louis has since passed away, died on a mission for his people, no longer with us, yet the thing that he asked for that night is what's happening now. Now we can talk about the ozone layer. Suddenly the sun, whom nations have prayed to for eons, suddenly the sun is beginning to kill. And the rain that we prayed for, that we have great ceremony for, the thundering voices we call our grandfathers, who we welcome every spring when we hear the first thunder. We have a prayer for them. We welcome them because it means fresh water for another year. Suddenly, the fresh water is bringing death. Of course. And when we look at the water, the very water that we drink, we are water. The human being is water. Water is the first law of life. And yet we look about and we see nations poisoning the very water that they must drink. When those things are happening, then people are going to sit up and probably the most devastating to human beings and direct is going to be disease, and it's here. You're going to see not only this disease that we talk about and call AIDS, but even more, even fiercer. And when these diseases come, they're going to exact a penalty on human beings for what they've done. Now this element that we talk about all the time is called natural law. Now in the natural law, what you learn, if you're an indigenous person, a person that lives next to the earth, what you learn is that the first element of natural law is there's no mercy. There is no mercy in natural law.
Nådeløst kan mennesket selv være, det vet vi. Men vi har begynt å stanse opp og spørre. Og industri- og forretningsledere i USA og i Europa inviterer ofte Oren Lyons som deltager og foredragsholder i deres konferanser.
They are in mega competition. They cannot take the chance of pulling back because their competitor will not, or so they think. And so there's no opportunity to stand back from this spiraling competition that they're in, which is driving us at a faster speed towards this wall that we're headed towards. I explained it to them. I said, this is the way I see it. I said, I see it like a horse race. And sitting up on the top are the CEOs. They're the jockeys up. I said, that's you. You're the driver. Okay, you're in a race and you're off. And what is your goal? Your goal is to be first. Because why are you going to be first? Because you make more money for your stockholders. And that's your job, because if you don't make money for your stockholders, you get fired. So you're off making money for your stockholders, and you're in this immense race, and you're running the race, and you're coming around the far turn, coming towards the goal line, if there is such a thing. I said, and instead of a goal line, there's a solid wall. Now, I said, you all see the wall, but are any one of you slowing up? No. And why aren't you slowing up? Because you think between now and that wall, something is going to come to change everything, so you can still be first in the race and still not take the chance of losing everything. And depending on this possibility, science maybe, of some intellectual event that's going to turn everything, I said, that's not going to occur. What is happening now is you're accelerating the race, and you're going right into this blank wall at full speed and even faster. Now, common sense says to all of us, you can't do that. Because if you do, you're taking everything and everybody into oblivion. And yet there it is. That's the reality. I said, if you're in a mechanical race like a car race, they at least have a yellow flag. When there's an accident, everybody stops, holds their position, and they go around until the wreckage is cleared, and then they're off again. I said, don't you have a yellow flag? Don't you have a concept of a yellow flag? I said, what are you going to do? This is your problem. This is my problem, because I'm going to be a victim of what you do. But nevertheless, I say, nevertheless, continue to do what you're going to do. I said, if people talked about what are prophecies, I said, I'll give you one prophecy. One. I said, next year you're going to meet again and nothing will have changed. You will all be doing the same thing that you're doing here next year, and the year after. The only thing that's going to change that is the elements, and they will.
These formations of the high north are the mythic and sacred lands of the Sami people. I feel strangely at home in this spiritual land.